Yo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is Phantom Frequency, where we get into various topics in the world of pop culture. So if you dig the vibe, click the buttons below the video, support the channel. It really does help us out. I think we just got past like 420, 421. So, smoke one for your boys out there, smoke one for the channel. It's freaking Phantom Frequency. But we got a special guest here today. It's Steph from the Final Girlz. She is back. Talking about another retro review today. We're talking about a freaking modern classic that is Sin City 2005, Robert Rodriguez, Frank Miller, and a little bit of directing from Quentin Tarantino himself. You got the Weinstein weirdos lurking about.
We won't mention that guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I know it might come up in the comments, so we're on to you. We're already ahead of you. But we know. They're everywhere. But we're still going to talk about this movie because, thankfully, they didn't fuck this one up.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth. Yeah. I didn't even realize it was a Weinstein movie until I started watching it again.
Saying I saw it on the DVD thing. I was like,
oh man,
that makes sense.
This
it was
jerk
Miramax or something. Yeah, Dimension or Miramax.
Yeah,
they made Scream. So many freaking classics and like good movies. So many bad movies too.
But yeah,
can't escape it.
No, unfortunately, it is a good movie though.
Hell yeah.
We'll just forget the bad guy and go with the ones that we like.
Exactly. And we're gonna kick it off, man. So, did you see this in the theater when it dropped back in the day?
I did not see this one in the theater. I saw the second one.
A Dame to Kill For, right?
Yes.
The sequel, which we might have to dive into next one of these days too.
Absolutely.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good one too, but it's not as good as this one. This one to me was an immediate classic, from the cinematography to the storytelling and everything else. I thought it was really well done, and like I said, cinematography wise, it looked like you were actually looking at a graphic novel that occasionally moved.
Yeah, for real. It reminds me of like something they did with like the Spider-Verse more recently in animation. Mm-hmm. This did it in live action. It made a comic book come to life, literally from the backdrops to the color palette and everything like that.
Oh yeah, I love the color palette, but even the way they would have them positioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very much that kind of like
very
boxy kind of like look for like the shots or whatever. I can't remember what they say for like those compositions, but there's like a certain way they illustrate it in the panels. Mm-hmm. And like I remember Robert Rodriguez was in a video talking about that. Like he really wanted to recreate almost frame for frame the entire comic book and everything like that. Because I never read the comics either. I don't think you read them.
I never read
right?
the comics.
Yeah, me neither. I've seen like images of them, but I really do want to read them because I feel like they'd be pretty cool. But
I would think they would be. But yeah. I love the black and white palette with the little pops of color. Yep. Like especially in the beginning where it's all black and white, and then all of a sudden this one walks in with this beautiful red dress.
Yeah.
And she's black and white. Everything else is black and white, and all you see is the dress.
You got Josh Hartnett coming out with the black tux. And so, yeah, it was just such a great like juxtaposition in the image and everything like that. And it was just striking right away. I remember being a kid seeing it for the first time. And I was like, whoa, what the heck is this? I was like, is it old? I'm like, why is it black and white? These people don't look that old. Then I saw Bruce Willis and I was like, wait a minute. This can't be that old. And then my dad was like, oh, yeah, it's just a black and white comic book. So they made the movie black and white. And I was like, wow, that's a crazy idea.
Yeah. Well, I liked it, too, because to me, I felt like with it being in black and white with the little pops of color, I felt like it gave more of the film noir.
Yeah. That early Hitchcock, like film noir detective type of vibe.
Exactly. Who done it?
Yeah, exactly. Just even the characters doing like the narration.
Yeah.
Like Bruce Willis or Mickey Rourke. Clive Owen later on.
Yeah, because it was very. It had very much even that, as if you were listening to it on the radio type.
Yeah, like an old radio drama. Yeah, my dad used to tell me about those, like from back in like the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. Yeah. And it really gives it this like very classic like Time Warner feel, but at the same time, when the action kicks in and some of the dialogue makes it feel very modern at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I love that about it. And just the ruthlessness of it was something that stuck out to me. And even just the last time I watched it, I was like, geez, man, like they're not pulling any punches.
They didn't.
With the violence.
But I honestly thought it was so beautifully done too. And it was interesting the way they would choose where to actually have the pops of red for the blood and where it was actually more of a white
type of thing.
Where you just saw it against the clothing. And I'm almost wondering if it was because they were kill shots. Because remember, Bruce Willis, when he got shot up, they were all white. But then when you got like
Mickey Rourke when he got killed. I think it was like all like red blood for the most part.
Yeah.
Or
So I wonder if that was. I wonder if they did that in.
it might have been intentional. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, I know that probably visually it was obviously intentional, but I just kind of noticed with like I said, Bruce Willis when he got shot up,
it was just like
it wasn't red.
Shots. Yeah,
it was white.
Damn.
I'm gonna have to go back and
I do remember
see this now and see if like the kill shots were all red because
I'm gonna have to comb through some of the footage and check this out because I never looked at it that way. I've seen this movie like 6-7 times. I never noticed that as much. Wow. You see, that's why I love having these conversations because even when you've seen something so many times, someone will notice something you don't see in the film. And when it comes to like just the actors in general, like really just going through the list, like I'm not gonna name all of them literally right now, but
God, no.
when you got Elijah Wood and Clive Owen, like I mentioned earlier, Rosario Dawson, back when she was just
Brittany
coming
Murphy.
up. Rest in peace to the GOAT.
It was so good to see her again. I've missed seeing her in movies.
Favorite performance in the movie for me is definitely her. Like I feel like just from the second she comes on, she's like the most memorable character in there.
Yeah, well, the thing I like about her, because she seemed like she was down to earth. She just she was like real. She was a real somebody that you felt like you would actually maybe run into
at a dive bar.
like
she might be serving up your drinks or whatever. Because everyone else feels more like heightened, but in a cool way to where it doesn't feel like it's over the top or silly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But it feels like it's pulpy, I guess you can say.
Yes.
I guess is the word it's going for, even more so than something like Pulp Fiction and things like that. But I love the way that she kind of matched up with everyone else, but at the same time, just feels like a real, genuine, real person that you would meet on the street.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I just love like the Brooklyn accent that she's doing and everything like that. I think this is part of the reason why they were considering her for Harley Quinn at one point before she passed on.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I was reading that online.
She would have been a good Harley.
I said, if it wasn't for her passing, I think she would have nailed it even better than Margot Robbie because she's awesome. But I think Brittany Murphy just had like the perfect accent for it. And she had this unhinged nature to her. Yeah. And even like funnier movies too. Like I think like Clueless.
That's
and
what I
things
was
like that,
that's
right?
what I was
Clueless?
referencing
Yeah,
was Clueless.
I thought so. I was like, I haven't seen that in so long. But that's one of those like chick flicks, if you will, that even I loved growing up and just seeing what Brittany Murphy was able to do so early on in her career. Back in 2005, man, just to imagine where she could have been now.
God, I know.
I think she just would have been A-list, man.
Oh, she would have absolutely. She was already pretty much there.
Popular.
I feel she was basically already there.
Right about there to pop off, man. But unfortunately, didn't pop off like that. But yeah, for me, she's not my favorite character, but definitely my favorite performance.
Yeah.
Like the whole like I'm gonna cut your peckerwood off. It's freaking great, man. Like I've seen that freaking gif go around like so many times.
Yeah, I thought she was absolutely wonderful. But I think one of the eeriest performances in this movie, and it's stuck with me even from the first time I saw it years ago.
I think I know where you're going.
To now, Elijah Wood when he's just sitting there and all you see is his glasses.
I love that image.
Oh my God! But
I love it.
His character, and I think it's the silence of him and everything else. He's just. His whole that whole storyline of it disturbed me so bad.
Just the shot of all the heads on the wall. Dude.
Oh God!
I'm like, damn, bro.
His trophies.
Yeah, I was like, yo, like I watch a lot of slasher movies and things like that, and I can't even name too many that have gone like that hardcore with it, with just the body count. And it didn't go too crazy into the cannibalism, which I like, but it did it enough. And it kind of insinuated it enough, like when she's like,
"Oh,
she made
wait, where? Yeah,
and everything
he's
like
watching.
That.
Yeah, she was watching him basically
eat her hand.
Yeah, and he was smart too. He was keeping her alive to keep her meat fresh.
Like, God, dude, I'm like, just the thought of that, man.
Keeping her alive to keep her meat fresh.
God damn, Subway, bro.
Ugh.
Subway, eat fresh, no Jared. # no diddler. No diddler, if you know what I'm talking about. But,
we're going all back to the whole Weinstein thing?
No. But hey, this guy definitely plays into it because he is a predator in his own right. But,
absolutely.
But in all seriousness, though, Elijah Wood, dude, just super, super freaking terrifying in this movie.
Oh, my God. I've always felt like...
Effortlessly, too.
I always felt like that performance is one of the most chilling performances.
And you never hear it mentioned either. You know what I mean?
And like I said, his performance has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
His character has always stuck with me.
And I like the choreography too, like the way that he's such a like he has so much fighting prowess at the same time. I'm like, you don't normally see that with creepy serial killers.
No.
They generally can't fight or have any like physical anything about them. Where him, it was like pretty much no one was really able to stop him almost.
Oh
So
yeah.
that was kind of the crazy part about it, where he was almost like indestructible, and they couldn't really stop this guy. And just
Yeah.
the simplistic design of it too, just with the little striped sweater and all that, gave me like Charlie Brown vibes, but like if the dude that made Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey got his hands on it or
I
something.
haven't seen that one yet.
Me neither, but it's just schlocky, crazy, and this had the same vibe, but it felt more, felt a little bit more artsy to me, a little bit more polished, and you don't normally see that from Robert Rodriguez. I feel like he's a little bit more balls to the wall most of the time. So this was a movie where I feel like he was just in his bag, like he had enough restraint, but he also had like a lot of edge to it at the same time, and it might have been him working with Tarantino, really helped with that.
Oh, yeah, you can. I hadn't known either that Tarantino was a part of it either. Until I revisited it this time around too.
Yeah.
And which is funny because you can see the Tarantino elements throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like the trademark violence, just the characters with like the witty dialogue and like the one-liners and stuff like that.
Especially, I think more so was with the hookers.
Yes.
Especially when you had like Miho and stuff like that.
I was like, this
because
is Kill Bill
I was
right
like,
here.
exactly.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Go-Go.
Yeah. I was like, man, when these guys get with these Asian actresses, they're gonna have them fucking up people because goddamn. And she's not even like an amazing actress in general, but this movie, it was perfect.
Oh, she was perfect for Miho.
Yeah, it was just like come in, look badass, and everything like that. I even liked her using the swastikas because of the original intent and meaning of the symbol.
Yeah.
I thought was really cool if you know that stuff, or if you don't, you just think it's like a shocking thing, like a shock factor type thing, which Tarantino also does.
Well, it was. I also found it very interesting too because you had the guy that had the swastika on his forehead, actually working with
Ving Rhames, right? I mean,
no,
Michael Clark Duncan. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just perpetuated my own people's problem. I'm sorry. We don't all look alike, damn it. No. It was a slip of the tongue. But yeah, Michael Clark Duncan, rest in peace to him, by the way. I think he passed on, I think.
I'm not. Did he?
I think so.
Ooh.
I'll double check in the edit, but I'm 90% sure. So if he did,
he was a great actress.
If not,
actor, yeah, fantastic actor.
Yeah, and I forgot he was in it too. This last time, I was like, oh right, he's in here because he got a smaller role in it, but really effective.
An effective role though, but I thought it was very interesting that he was working with the guy with the swastika on his forehead.
I think the guy was just a nihilist though. I think he was just like
there.
Yeah, like he was just crazy. Like he didn't really have any rhyme or reason or any political racism things going on. I think he just hated everyone. So he just wanted to perpetuate that he hates everyone.
Yeah.
He even got stabbed through the chest and shit. And he's like, hey, is anyone going to call the doctor?
Right.
Arrow through the chest. But yeah, man, it was just, and when it comes to the hookers too, in general, like all those girls were just super badass. But I love the juxtaposition between Rosario Dawson and what's her name? Alexis Bledel as Becky, the snitch girl.
Oh yeah.
I really like that aspect because I didn't see that coming at first.
Oh no, me neither.
I was like, oh yeah, she's definitely gonna be like loyal to these guys and help out her sisters and whatnot and try to keep the cops and the mob out of there. But nah, she sold him out straight up.
Straight up.
And Clive Owen was like, hey, we gotta find the rat that's coming in this shit. And I was like, dude, it's that classic gangster type stuff where you're always trying to find the rat.
Yes.
It's like The Departed, but only for like that short sequence. But yeah, man. So just the whole like mob vibe with the movie too. You definitely get that Pulp Fiction kind of Reservoir Dogs vibe right there. And when it comes to Frank Miller, he was actually in the movie.
What?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, he was the priest that what's his name?
Really?
Yeah, was talking to for the confession.
Marv.
Yeah, Marv was talking to. Yeah.
Was it Marv or Dwight?
Wait.
Was it Marv? Dwight.
Mm.
And I just watched it again this morning.
Was it Marv? I think so. Well,
whoever it was, they were confessing to.
Whoever they were talking to Frank Miller. But I remember watching it because I was like, "It's Frank Miller." He looks way different now. But I was like, "Oh shit, it's Frank Miller. He's in the movie." Because he actually helped co-direct scenes in the movie as well.
Yeah.
And helped him kind of with the script and all that stuff. So.
Which I think is important because I know that they like, in point in case like. For the Tank Girl movie,
oh right,
they didn't really go with like Jamie Hewlett or.
And I never read the comic or seen the movie, but I'm aware of that. Yeah, they didn't
Yeah.
really use the people that the
I
author.
collect the graphic novels.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah.
And I think I heard rumors they're making a new one, so
Yeah,
maybe we'll have to cover the old one.
well, I'm kind of
one day.
hoping that they don't get who they're talking about.
Who are they talking about?
They're talking about Margot Robbie, but
Again?
I'm afraid that she'll turn Tank Girl into Harley Quinn
Mm-hmm.
because they're similar, but they're
Yeah.
different.
I was gonna say very much of the same era.
So it's like I think Margot Robbie's gorgeous. I think she's a great actress. She's a good Harley Quinn, but I don't want to turn Tank Girl into Harley.
Yeah, and just Margot Robbie kind of overshadows whatever character she's playing at this point, because she's such a big name. Even with Barbie making her even bigger, which I didn't think was possible.
I almost think that they need a no name for Tank Girl.
I think you're right, honestly. I think that's the better way to go because even this movie, to a degree, a lot of these actors were super duper famous, minus maybe 4 or 5 of them. I would say overall, like Rosario Dawson wasn't super known yet. Clive Owen wasn't a huge name. Benicio, Bruce Willis, and Mickey Rourke were obviously pretty legendary in their own rights.
But I mean, when you go when I was going back and watching this, I was like, it was just like A list after A list after A list.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like it's just stacked.
And also, I didn't get the correlation in the last one or before when I watched it that the little girl was Jessica Alba's character.
Yep.
It just shows how long ago it's been since I've watched it.
It's just been a minute because you almost don't associate them together. But yeah, that's the same girl that he was writing to him in letters for 8 years and all this stuff. Cordelia, yes, which is such an old timey name too, which I thought was pretty funny.
I thought, yeah, it was really kind of cool that they made this little girl so much wiser than her years.
Exactly, which is cool, man. It's like I like when they have kid characters that could like handle their own and do their own thing for the most part within reason. And I thought she was a good character in that, right?
I thought she played it really well.
And gave you a character that you could root for in Bruce Willis. That no matter what he did, he had to do it, to kind of save the day and get the job done. Because every other character in this film is pretty much a terrible person. Pretty much, I think.
Pretty much.
Brittany Murphy, I might give her a pass because I didn't see her do anything too bad.
Oh, you don't even see Jessica Alba's character do anything bad.
True, my bad. Sorry, Jessica Alba. My bad. You're promoting a resident too. I should be fucking showing some love. But yeah, she's from out here. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she grew up out in Pomona and stuff and moved around quite a bit over the years. But yeah, so she's from L.A. neighboring the IE, baby. IE, stand up. Inland Empire, best name for county ever. Come at me, bro. Let me know in the comments. Coolest county name. I want to know. Inland Empire is in the top 3 at least. But what's it called?
And we're massive.
Yeah, and true. And another thing I like about this movie too is that there is like nudity and sexuality in the movie to a degree to where it feels like it's a part of the world and also informs the characters of what's going on. At least for the most part. I guess Carla Gugino didn't have to be naked, but I'm not complaining.
I didn't feel like it was unnecessary, and I didn't feel like the nudity in it was unnecessary.
It's like a Friday the 13th movie,
Exactly.
Which
like even when we see
mind,
because even during the narration, when you have Goldie laying there and her breasts are out, he's talking about it actually, and how they're no longer moving while she's breathing and things like that. It's
exactly.
I was like, it actually kind of went along with the narration. So to me, I felt like it was an artistic move at that point.
Exactly.
So
it's edgy, but it has a purpose to it at the same time.
And they were nice.
Yeah,
I mean, gotta say.
Hey, a nice pair. It's a nice set.
It was a nice set.
What was that? Jamie King, I think.
Yeah, Jamie King.
Jamie King, man. Prime days in the 2000s.
Nice boobies.
Yeah, for sure. And let me see who else was in there. And then Carla Gugino. That was another nice pair right there. I remember seeing her in Spy Kids like 3 years before.
Yeah. She
when it came out.
When she walking around with just the thong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yep. Everything's showing, man. Thank God we didn't get any Mickey Rourke dick or something like that in there, though. That'd have been weird.
Speaking of which, it was really difficult watching the one dude from the beginning get torn apart by Bruce Willis at the end.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting too, making him like yellow with all bastard.
And that was a great use of the color, man, because that just made him like
he stood out. He was like grotesque. He just
even
like
worse.
Oh yeah,
it
was like, disgusting. I was just like everything about him.
And that was the one thing where I was like, you know what, Nick Stahl kind of never really met his potential, dude. Because I was like, this guy was incredible in that part.
Mm-hmm.
Even from the beginning to that, I'm like, dude, he had like maybe
Yeah,
10
and that
minutes of
to
the
me,
movie.
I would think that would be a really hard part to play.
Yeah, that's a despicable, terrible human
You
being.
hate him. And you did too. I mean, he played it well considering you hated this guy. You hated this guy from the get.
Whipping Jessica Alba and all that, man.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
you hated her. You hated him from the jump.
it was just terrible. He's like, what the fuck you gonna do to me, you piece of shit, Cap? I'll
Yeah.
get my dad on your ass. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Oh, Rutger Hauer, rest in peace. That was another cool ass part in there. Powers Booth as well. Shout out to Tombstone. He was in there as the mayor or whatever. Those guys are super cool. Just all the villains and all the villainous people in here. Benicio del Toro's a
Benicio was great.
woman beater,
that was
but
another
great in
part,
the
one of
movie.
my favorite parts of the movie too was when you have Benicio's dead character talking to Dwight Howard,
Yep.
and especially when he does the whole thing and his neck goes back like this and you see the slit in his throat.
I love that kind
before
of
he
shit,
comes
man.
back forward again and his head
Just-
in the dashboard.
Well, it looked like your homie had too much fun back over there when he gets pulled over by the cop, and I like he's just about to shoot this fool at any minute. But I love that
He's like,
sequence,
"Oh,
man.
Yeah, your taillight's out.
Like,
It's like, oh, okay. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I'm letting you off with a warning.
Oh, thank God, because you were about to get shot in the face, dude. But Benicio, man, just so good in the role. Like within
Oh, he
like
was
5-10
amazing.
minutes, you hate the guy. You know exactly what he's about, and he just makes such an impression, especially with that scene where he's dead talking
yeah.
to Clive Owen, and just the back and forth with it. And I like the way he's playing it too, because he sounds all like weird, like.
Yeah. Well, he's like gurgling on his
Oh right, because his
on
neck's
his
all
neck.
cut open, which is another cool important thing to detail, where it's like it's unrealistic but realistic at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's a crazy balance that Robert Rodriguez was able to really strike in the movie. And I like the part even too, like when he's trying to get rid of the body and he's like in the tar pit or in the water and it looks like just black, where he's just like a white silhouette. I was like, that was such a
I thought that was
cool-ass
cool.
idea.
That was really cool.
That was straight out of the comic. Like he literally just made it look like a comic book, man. And I was like, how are you
Ooh.
doing this?
I liked it when he put the explosive in Benicio's head.
Oh yeah, that too. I was
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
Yeah, and what's her name is the one that figured out his mouth wasn't taped up before.
Oh, is it Rosario
Becky.
Dawson? Yeah, Becky.
Girl playing Becky.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, a little snitcher over there. And I loved how her eyes were like,
get bitches.
Yeah, for real.
Snitches get stitches. I'm all-
snitches they're gonna get their ass whooped. That's all we know. Get your candy ass whooped, rock style. But and I liked how her eyes were like blue, and they were the only eyes that stuck out in the whole movie.
Oh no! In
I
the very
think.
beginning too, the girl in the red dress, hers
Oh,
go
right.
green when she smokes the cigarette just
that?
before she gets killed.
I think it was
Josh
Marley
Hartnett.
Shelton. I think.
I'm not sure who she was, but I love the scene with the red dress.
Hey, she did have green eyes and a red dress. So it was the only two characters that she like actually saw their eyes, and I was like, that was another cool little like element to it, for the character as well, and just the overall like costume design is really badass too. Like it looks just like the comics, but at the same time they kind of gave it more of like a goth kind of edge to it a little bit more, especially with like Rosario Dawson and all the girls in Old Town and all that. And but yeah, and like I mentioned too, the action scenes are all super dope and like
Absolutely.
crazy. Like Mickey Rourke is a tank in this movie,
Oh yeah.
like killing everybody, dude. And he's just getting his ass whooped repeatedly too. I'm like, he took the Bruce Willis approach from Die Hard and said, "Hold my beer, bro." Like I'm about to get shot up, stabbed, beaten, tortured, all
Let me
kinds
show
of shit.
you.
Yeah, let me show you how it's done, bro. And then freaking Bruce Willis getting arrested the whole time, so then he's got to be doing all this monologuing and narration and everything like that. And his acting when he's in the freaking cell, like freaking out, like
thought
it was so good.
I thought it was crazy too how Rourke had him all patched up, had him all healed up, and everything else just to basically torture him.
Yep.
Put him away.
That's
It's
how they do it, man.
Yeah,
Just
I was just like,
fucking him
that
over.
sucks.
It's like the only character trying to do something right in here, and he's getting fucked over repeatedly,
over and over and over.
over and over again, man. And just like there was one character I was gonna mention, and now I'm forgetting who it was. Oh yeah, Michael Madsen's character of Bob. With the way that him and Bruce Willis have like just a few interactions in the movie, I actually kind of wish he was more in the movie, to be honest, because I really like Michael Madsen a lot. He was the corrupt cop that was
Okay.
going after Bruce Willis, and he got famous for doing the ear torture scene in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
That guy.
I haven't watched that movie in a really, really long time either.
Yeah.
It's been a really long time since
He's
I've
a
watched that
Tarantino
one.
like alum. Like he's in almost every Tarantino movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's also in the movie Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp. Really good movie. But Michael Madsen, I really wish he was more in the movie, and Rutger Hauer, because I love Rutger Hauer. Like the freaking what was that? The Hitcher. So
I
terrifying
haven't
in that
seen
movie.
that movie.
Y'all should do a reaction to that.
I'm sure we will. I think it's been in our comments.
That's like literally the reason why no one hitchhikes anymore is that movie. Like that single-handedly killed it.
You shouldn't pick up hitchhikers anymore.
I know, but it was the
scary.
80s. People used to do it, you know?
I had a friend that used to do it all the time, and I used to yell at her. Be like, will you stop? Just stop.
Do you not listen to the urban legends? Jesus. I didn't want to get in cars and Ubers when that came out. And these fools were over here picking people up. Gosh. But hey, sometimes you got to get wasted, you know what I mean?
That's true.
Sometimes you got to get buck. But yeah, man. And then, like I mentioned with Michael Clark Duncan before, I liked how his eye was all screwed up, and that was one of the only things that popped out.
The gold eye.
Yeah, the golden eye, and I was like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Like what is happening here? And it was like just so like you almost couldn't take your eyes off him every time he was on screen. I would just be like staring at it.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think to have him stand out, it worked.
Yeah, for sure. I really love that aspect with it too, and just all the overall like there's so many just possible moments in here that are just like poster worthy. It's just excellent CGI and excellent like set design that they were able to do, and I think to me personally, it may not be my favorite Robert Rodriguez movie, but I think it's his best movie. If I'm being honest, because From Dusk Till Dawn's really dope.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in a long time either. I saw that in the theater actually when it came out.
Wow, that's
and that's the only time I've seen it.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
So I need to revisit Dusk Till Dawn.
Damn. I was gonna say, might have to do that one
I
these
like
days.
vampires, so.
It's one of the best vampire movies ever, and I love how it's like a straight up Tarantino crime flick and a vampire movie 2-for-1 style.
And Salma Hayek.
Dude, best striptease scene any movie anywhere. I mean, can anyone name a better one? And I don't want to hear the Demi Moore movie. All right, that's pretty good, but it's not the Salma Hayek.
It's not Salma Hayek.
No, it is not. And Tarantino, you dirty boy, you. I know what you were doing, dog. Writing that script. Him and George Clooney were having fun on that movie.
I probably didn't realize that this one was that Tarantino had his hand in it, as there weren't enough feet.
That's true. Well, Robert Rodriguez controlled all the shots, and he doesn't care about feet. We already know this. But I'm like, damn, Tarantino, what's with the feet, dude? But I think that was like the first time you see what's her name, Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. It's her feet. It's her lips and her feet. I'm like,
oh no,
this guy.
no, stop with the feet. Yeah, that was also in Kill Bill. Wiggle your big toe. No.
I'm like, what?
No.
I'm like, this guy. I'm like,
no. Can we let's just get past the big toe wiggling.
Hey, it's Tarantino. You gotta have feet. True Romance, all that stuff. But yeah, dude, like, and just the overall like soundtrack to the movie, I like how it has that like old like rockabilly kind of like 50s rock vibe to it, like super sick. Like just the main theme itself to me just has that iconic kind of nature to it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I don't know who did the music for the movie, but they should get a lot more credit too. That is for sure. But are there any scenes or any characters we haven't talked about that stuck out to you? Or
did we talk about Lucille?
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about Lucille as much. That was what's her name, Carla Gugino, right?
I think so.
Yeah, so Mickey Rourke's Marv's probation officer. Yeah, yes. The probation officer lady. And I thought I was really screwed up too. How she was like, "Hey, he's unarmed. You know, we take him into custody and whatever." And the dude's like, "Brr." I'm like, "Damn, bro, I didn't even say a word." I'm trying to remember if her blood was white or red.
It's hard to remember.
I feel like hers might have been white too, but she's dead for sure. I feel like it was white. See, it's like, damn,
now we have to go back and check it out.
Is there a meaning, or did he do it for style? I gotta know this.
But then also thinking about it too, though, it wasn't. But it may have just been because it was such a shocking scene. Was when Rosario Dawson bit.
Oh yeah.
Becky's neck.
Yeah, dude. She's like, "You crazy bitch! Could have bit my throat
She like took that artery.
I'm like, do it, yo.
I honestly thought she was gonna bleed out.
I thought so too. I thought she got her like right in the center of the throat, but I was like,
yeah, she got her here, but that's still like an artery, isn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
I think so.
She's like, crazy bitch.
Ouch.
And I was like, Rosario Dawson is such a badass in this movie.
Oh, she is. And oh my God, I think she's beautiful. So
For sure. I think she was like 25 when she did this movie.
Oh,
And she
yeah.
still looks great. She barely looks any different.
I was gonna say she doesn't look any different at
So
all.
crazy. Dude. Like, barely, if at all, bro. And it's like, I think maybe it's just because they have all those side comparisons or whatever.
Jessica Alba still looks really good though too. Jessica Alba hasn't changed much either.
Definitely. For sure.
And I mean, she's become a mom and everything else.
Carla Gugino, same thing.
Yeah.
Elijah Wood actually aged really well.
Oh yeah, Elijah Wood, Frodo.
Yep. Oh, Mr. Frodo, could you not eat my sister? Thank you.
It was a trip. That is not second breakfast.
That's a terrible crossover. Sam wakes up, it's just this fool staring at him.
I'm gonna get your hairy
Frodo,
feet.
is that you?
Let me get your hairy feet.
So why don't you fuck with the dudes, you sexist? Messing with your own, can't even get your own kind?
It's because we've got better fat proportions.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean,
Hey, there's man titties out there, you know?
this is true. You could get some moobs.
Don't discriminate. God damn, come on, man. What was his name? Kevin? Which is also a crazy ass name. I'm just like, it's such a basic ass normal name. It's always like a dude named Kevin. It's like out here chopping folks
Well,
up.
I always say that. Have you ever like in Cabin in the Woods? I always say Kevin is
right.
If you look at the list of monsters, one of them is Kevin.
Kevin, yeah.
And I always say Kevin is like the male Karen. So Kevin is definitely going to the manager.
Oh shit, dude! I just totally put that together. Kevin's, sorry, your name just got ruined right here.
Yeah.
On Phantom Frequency. Sorry we had to do it to you, man. All the Karens hate their names now, and all the Kevins are gonna hate their names.
It's either Kevin or Kyle. But I'm going with Kevin.
Nah, Kevin definitely sounds better.
Yeah.
Kyle is almost like too much of an offshoot.
Exactly.
Sorry, Kevin.
Sorry, Kevin.
It's not my fault.
Kevin.
But yeah, freaking, yeah. Crazy ass Elijah Wood running around doing serial killer kung fu over here. You got Miko going around chopping up dudes and all that stuff with the samurai swords. And
Loved her.
Loved her, dude. Like chopping dudes' heads like clean off. Like, I'm just like, Jesus.
I thought that was badass. And I actually loved the blood splatter on her face. Like
yeah.
it just looked hot. I was like, I love this. I love this. I was like, yeah.
Getting a peek in
I
your
just,
mind right here.
I loved how stoic she was and just how she just like didn't give a fuck.
And I like how you got the rain in the background too. And I love the way rain looked. It just looked like, I don't even know if it was like real rain and they were using like real water or CGI, but it just looks so cool.
Yeah.
It looked like it was almost white like the way they do it in the comics, but it looked like real rain. Like
It was
looked
probably
so
a garden
badass.
hose.
Probably was. Just fucking hosing everyone down.
A shower.
Yeah, man, it's freaking insane, dude. But yeah, it's just perfectly paced movie. It just flies by every time I watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not a boring moment in it. I would really like to watch the extended cut just to see like what they added or what they took out from the comics or whatever, or if they just came up with original shit. I don't know.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the extended cut either.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Almost 2.5 hours.
Wow.
And I think the normal cut's like 2 hours.
Okay.
So they definitely cut out quite a bit of footage. For sure. And like I said, man, when it comes to comic book movies, like I was alluding to when we talked about us initially doing this is definitely way up there.
Absolutely. And I just, like I said, the cinematography is fantastic.
It's excellent, man. Like this
I
movie
think
should have
it's
been getting
fantastic.
Oscars.
To me, I felt like, yeah, it's like I said, it's literally like you were thumbing through a graphic novel.
Or like a painting come to life or something
Yeah.
like that, or like some kind of like
I love the way
illustration.
they had that one dude, like when they were dragging him outside the car and his legs are up and
Yeah.
everything else. Because to me, like I said, it's a visual straight out of a comic book. I mean, it's not a realistic depiction
but
of how somebody being dragged outside of a car would look.
Nope, but I love it at the same
But
time.
I loved it because it's absolutely the way you would see it in a graphic novel or in a comic book with the legs up in the air and
Yep, exactly.
and you've noticed he didn't even move the whole time the car was moving.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Damn, man, it's so cool, man. Like just so many cool little details in this thing, and just even when the cars are driving around, the way that just looks straight out of a comic book as well, and the way that they're like crashing the cars out of the way. It just had like this weird frame rate to it for the action scenes too. They just gave it this like otherworldly feel. I feel like this is the only movie that kind of captures a little bit of what The Crow kind of did, but just made it more comic booky.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And I almost feel, because wasn't Frank Miller also 300?
Yes.
And I feel like this even looked more comic book than 300.
Oh, agreed.
300 had more of the color, you could see it, but I felt like this conveyed it
Exactly.
a lot better.
300 to me just looks like just a cool movie version of stuff in comic books.
Yeah.
This is just a straight up
A comic book.
brought to life. Way before anyone else did it with Spider-Verse, or people did it with Avengers, or even X-Men and Deadpool and things like that.
Absolutely.
It was just so ahead of its time, man. And maybe that's part of the reason why maybe it doesn't get the same kind of hype. Maybe it just came out maybe a few years too soon before people got more into the R-rated type stuff and things like that. Because I don't know if this movie made a lot of money when it came out, so...
I
don't know. Maybe it was more of like a lukewarm thing, but they did make the sequel, so you'd have to assume it was pretty popular,
and
I guess.
The sequel's decent, but it's not...
Would you say it's not as like... Just like the story doesn't come together as well, or it just doesn't seem to have the same polish,
it just doesn't. Yeah, it's been a while since I've watched that one too.
Who
but
directed that?
I love the first one. I own both of them.
Oh, sick, great,
but I still haven't. I just
don't watch it nearly.
Well,
as often.
it's also one of those things too. I have it on either Blu-ray or DVD. I have a double.
Oh, okay, yeah, the double
disc set, and I just don't ever use the machine for it anymore. So I actually found one of the channels, those free channels,
a
to
streamer.
Stream this one on.
One of you Tubies out there or something?
One of the Tubies. I think it was Pluto.
Oh, it might have been Pluto.
So I had to watch commercials.
Always adds like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Goddamn commercials. You just can't.
So that was my extended version.
Yeah,
was watching Spike Lee talk about Fiat.
Hey, it's a Spike Lee joint, you know.
So yeah, parts of it was a Spike Lee joint.
That's dope. I like it.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can get rid of Einstein and make it a Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee's Sin City 3.
Yeah.
All black people this time.
I'd be down to watch that.
That'd be pretty sick. Yeah. But it'll never happen. But it would be so sick. But yeah, man, like this is definitely one of the illest comic book movies out there. If for some reason you really just were curious about this video and haven't watched this movie, I guarantee you will dig this movie if you like The Crow, if you like Tarantino or Rodriguez movies, if you like comic books, or if you just like film noir, crime, like thrillers, even true crime. I think you might even kind of get into just more of them kind of trying to investigate and figure out who's framing who. Like I like all those genres.
And I personally love the artistic version of this movie. The artistic just like feel.
Yeah.
Because it's super artsy, super.
Yeah, super artsy, well crafted, but badass at the same time. It's like A24 mixed with, like, I don't know. It's like freaking Grindhouse meets Art House.
Yeah. Ooh, that's another one we should get into.
Oh, Grindhouse, the double feature.
Grindhouse, yeah.
That would actually be pretty fun because I haven't seen Planet Terror since I was a kid.
Okay. I haven't seen them since they've come out.
Yeah, same. Because I like Death Proof more.
Yeah, I like Death Proof.
And I'm a big Kurt Russell guy, too. I was raised on his movies, so I was always a big fan of that one. But yeah, we definitely got to do that. Another Rosario Dawson classic right there.
Yes.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead, the most underrated actress out there.
Yeah, nothing like, having your leg replaced with a gun.
It's the way to do it, man. Rose McGowan.
Yep.
She wants to be in the sequel. But yeah, man. So if you love all that stuff, you definitely need to check this out. And once again, make sure you're jumping on to Steph's channel, The Final Girlz.
Please.
The link is in the description below with a Z. It's not an S, so don't be clicking anyone else's stuff. Make sure you get on that Final Girlz with a Z. Subscribe to the channel. They just hit 21,000 subs, y'all. Yeah. So let's get them to 25 sooner rather than later, and let's keep the channel growing, you know? And like I said, we're trying to grow our community here as well. We just hit 420. Let's hit 500 before we get to Halloween. And let's hit 1,000 before we go into 2025. Let's keep it moving and grooving. We're going to have some fun horror movie topics going on the channel all month long. I got some different ideas in the mix, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled. We're going to be talking about one of my favorites that also is hitting its 20th anniversary this week. So make sure you check out that video as well. I'm going to keep it as a surprise. It's going to be dropping October 1st. This is going to be dropping just a couple days right after that, so you should be seeing both of these videos pretty much when they're both on the channel. So make sure you check out that latest horror review we were doing. Make sure you check out everything the Final Girlz are doing, and we're going to have weekly reviews for The Penguin and Agatha All Along. 2 really good shows you should check out, by the way.
Yes.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, everyone was wanting to watch both of them.
Yeah, Penguin, man. Episode 2 comes out tonight. I got a gig, though, so I won't be watching it in real time, but y'all would have already seen the review. So make sure you get out there and do all that fun stuff, click all the buttons and everything, and we're going to see you guys again real soon, because I'm sure we're going to work together on something sooner rather than
I'm
later.
sure we'll figure out. Well, we just talked about one.
Oh, yeah, we did. Grindhouse. Might be seeing it here on the channel. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled. And if you really want that, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you holler at the Final Girlz and follow them over there. Thank you guys so much for checking this out and sticking around to the end. Make sure you have a safe weekend as well. And until next time, make sure you stay safe, stay tuned, don't sleep. Much love, y'all.